Welcome to March, another month, another list of PSVR2 games for us in 2024, and there are a couple exciting ones coming this month, and some unfortunate delays. As always, other games will be announced. After this video goes live, I'll try my best to put them in the comments or description, but you'll probably see them around on the Reddit and Twitter in terms of their announcements, but these games just do end up being shadow dropped out of nowhere or announced for this month, so without further ado, let's jump in. Unfortunately, the first one I want to talk about is actually a delay out of March. This is Mixture, if you're excited for this fantasy game where you play as two characters at the same time in a very cool loop with a little knight and alchemist. It unfortunately has been pushed back to April 12th, I believe, from March 1st. So that is no longer coming on March 1st, but still do keep an eye out for more news about Mixture as it comes to both PlayStation and Steam. However, one game today on March 1st has come out, which is Rainbow Reactor Fusion. I covered this in yesterday's video. It's a fun little match 3 game that doesn't oversell itself, has a neat little story to it, and while the gameplay is simple, it's done fairly well. You're tasked with fixing the Rainbow Reactor while using your own arms to throw coloured balls and orbs into the match 3 machine. If you want a match 3 game on PSVR 2, this is your best and only, as it happens, option. But the team have poured their heart and souls into making this as good as it can be despite the simple gameplay loop, and I did enjoy my time with it. So if you want one, a match 3 game that should be on your radar is Rainbow Reactor Fusion, launching today on March 1st. On March 7th, we have OVDARK, a do not open story, an indie horror game that I hopefully will be covering. This is the sequel to Do Not Open from the PSVR 1 era, and you explore a cursed mansion in Burkittsville in full immersion on PSVR 2. You step into the shoes of George Foster, a fearless investigator and companion to Mike from the first game, and you face the malevolent presence of your former companion as he becomes a ruthless enemy against you. This game includes terrifying rooms and twisted puzzles as you fight for your survival throughout each level, and I'm genuinely excited to see what the improvements have been made from the original game. This will still be an indie title, so I'm not expecting AAA quality here, but if it has some good scares, good puzzles, and generally a great sense of atmosphere, we could get another sleeper hit like Propagation Paradise Hotel, which I was not expecting to be as good as it was. So fingers crossed for OVDARK, a do not open story on March 7th. Also on March 7th, we have not a new game, but a new update to an existing game that I cover every single time they bring out a new update for. This is Walkabout Minigolf VR, as they have the Ice Lair coming on March 7th. They did do a Laser Lair earlier last year, but this is a brand new one, and directly from their Twitter post, they say, carved into an Arctic glacier lies a subterranean hideout, cloaking an ice-cold plot against humanity. Stop an evil scientist and her puffin lackeys intent on perfecting their freeze-ray technology. Get ready to slide into Ice Lair on Thursday, March 7th. Now, I usually would not include DLC like this, but this is Mighty Coconut. They are some of the best VR devs in the business. Their maps are always awe-inspiring and full of detail, and even though they are all paid DLC, they are all absolutely worth it. So keep an eye out for the Ice Lair on Thursday, March 7th for Walkabout Minigolf, which is actually one of the best PSVR 2 games if you haven't picked it up anyway. So keep an eye open for that March 7th. On March 8th, we have Stilt, a game that was announced not too long ago, where you're a furball with 2 long arms. And you equip yourself with springy stilts in each hand to bounce through the landscape and retrieve lost gifts as you're a spaceship delivery man, get back to your stolen spaceship and complete your job. It takes inspiration from classic platformers, and it relies on the player using their quick reflexes and problem-solving skills to progress through the levels, passing chasms, avoiding traps, breaking things, and smacking creatures. Now, this one isn't very high up on my hype radar, but I think it does look like a solid platformer, and if you're missing platformers on PSVR 2 or want something that might appeal to maybe your kids or a younger audience, I reckon it's going to be a pretty great one. It looks fairly promising in that regard, so Stilt on March 8th. Keep an eye open. Also on March 8th is System Critical 2. A retro Mega Man-like shooter where you blast enemies, make your way through levels, and platform in quite intense and hard sections. Now, I actually covered System Critical 2 in yesterday's video with Rainbow Reactor Fusion, and I'm a bit mixed on it. In terms of actual gameplay, it is fairly fun, and the platforming is decent, but the music here isn't great. The visuals are okay. Resolution-wise, it's good, but the actual textures themselves feel very indie, as you can see on the screen right now. And there's some quality of life features that really need to be here, and for $20, you could get yourself a much better game, unfortunately. But if you think it does look fun, the gameplay on screen feels better in the headset than it looks on screen, so if you think this gameplay looks good, you'll probably have a blast playing it. But for that price tag, I do struggle to recommend it a little bit, but it still is coming out on March 8th, 2024 on PSVR 2. Next up on March 14th, we have Paint the Town Red VR, the first-person brawler with sandbox combat levels and a massive roguelike mode from Southeast Games. It's set in different locations and time periods as you run around in this melee combat game, punching voxel-based enemies that can be bash, kick, stab, punch, and slice completely dynamically using any object that isn't nailed down. The original game is available on every single platform under the sun, so I'm hoping this VR version keeps the same level of energy, looks good, and plays well. I have just got my key for Painting the Town Red, so I will be covering it when the embargo does eventually lift, and I am excited to jump in to see what it's like. So if you're looking for a brawler on PSVR2 and quite like a voxel art style, this one's for you. On the 23rd of March, we have Madison, a game that we've been anticipating since its delay last month, hoping there isn't another delay, but if the April PSVR2 Games video rolls around and it still hasn't come out, then this video will be outdated. But as it stands, Madison is the flat screen game being completely remade in VR, and the flat screen game is apparently the scientifically most rated scary game ever, and touts itself as an immersive and terrifying first-person psychological horror game featuring disturbing gameplay and an unsettling and compelling narrative as you connect the human world with the world beyond using a possessed instant camera. You solve puzzles, explore your surroundings, and most importantly, survive as you're haunted by the ghost of an evil murderer. I'm really looking forward to this one, even though I cannot stand horror games because they terrify me. But I do end up having a really good time with them in terms of making content, and you guys seem to enjoy my reactions to them. So keep an eye out for Madison VR on the 23rd of March. And finally, it's time to talk about Cube, a game that's been named and thrown around for a little while now, and it should be coming out in March finally. This is a bit of a Minecraft clone, but with its own twist in VR, with some genuinely really good looking graphics where you build, craft, explore, and survive in a massive open world, either following objectives in the game or allowing your creativity and imagination to run free. With luminous caves, massive forests, or towering mountains, if you can see it, you can reach it, or even destroy it. One exciting feature that we also get with Cube on PSVR2 is mod support. We can easily browse, download, and install custom mod blocks created by the CyubeVR community for maximum variety in our builds, which is awesome to see on a PSVR2 game. Cube is shaping up to be one of the best games on PSVR2 in terms of creativity and Minecraft clones, so I'm really excited to dive into it and get my hands on it. I have applied for a key with the dev. I'm hoping they haven't forgotten about me, but Cube dev, if you're hearing me right now, yeah, just make sure I get this one. I'd love to cover it. I think it looks great. Anyway, that'll wrap us up for today. Are there any games on this list that you're excited about? If any other PSVR2 developers who are releasing their games in March and I have somehow missed on this list, please do drop a comment. I'll pin it at the top and I'll also heart it for visibility so people can see that your game is coming in March of 2024. Thank you to our patron Luke Bentley and anybody else who's considered subscribing to membership or Patreon. Your support means the world and keeps me going on my little YouTube journey here. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next video.